Hey everybody, welcome back to another quick tie here with Tim, Fly Fishing Board Outfitters, and Thursday Night Live Fly Tying. We want to thank Rocky Mountain Fly Shop first, bringing you this quick tie this week. Don't forget, every order over $99 ships for free. Okay, what we're tying up today, we're going after the EP Tarantula Woolly Bugger. All right, so we've been tying some bugger flies, and we're gonna just keep going down that rabbit trail of variations on these flies. Today, this is coming out of Season 5, Episode 7. I am tying out of my Season 5 kit. Looks like this. You can still get your hands on one if you want to. Head over to our website at www.flyfishingboardriver.com/TNLS5. Grab yours today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're part of the replay squad, meaning you're watching this right now, drop a comment. You never know what prizes might be coming your way. We want to know you're there. Just keep us in the loop. All right, let's head on over to the vise and let's get rocking. Okay guys, so I've got my my hook and my vise here. I've got this cone head fixed on here. You can see the cone head kind of sits kind of funny. It's okay, there's nothing wrong with how it's sitting, but I'll give you a little tip or trick. So from the previous few episodes we've been tying, I've just got a spare piece of this lead wrap here. There's none specifically in this pattern, but I'm gonna show you something you can do. I'm just gonna take a few wraps here. It will add a little bit of weight, but what I'm gonna show you that this does, and it'll help you, is it helps that cone stay more leveled when you're tying. If you just put a little bit of that lead wraps up into the cone, into the collar, it helps it stay in place, okay? Head on over to your thread. I'm using a UTC 140, something a little bit bigger today. I'm doing this bronzy, olive bronze, I think it's what it's called. I'm gonna start my thread just back behind those lead wraps. If you don't have lead in there, don't worry, nothing changes in how you tie this pattern. It's all the same. Just gonna get that a little bit of a thread wrap laid down. I'm gonna work my way back down the hook all the way to the bend, just laying a little bit of a thread base down. Once I get back to the top of the hook bend, I'm gonna go and grab one of my marabou feathers. We're gonna grab, this pattern is an olive today, so we're gonna grab one of our olive colored, green colored marabous, okay? Now pull your fingers kind of down it so you get to expose those tips. We're gonna get rid of those really fine tips, so we've got kind of the more plumy section. So all I'm doing is placing them against my thumb and against the scissors and just tearing them. Okay, we're not cutting them because we want them to stay kind of rough looking on the edges. Okay, I moisten my fingers, a little saliva, pull it down the marabou so I can get a nice appearance of the length. I wanna tie in a tail that's roughly the full hook shank in length. So once I mark that, I'm gonna transfer it to the back. Get a thread wrap over top. And now I'm gonna use just a little bit of this stem to build a little bulk in the body here. But I'm gonna make sure I trim it out before I get to that wire or before I get to the cone. So it's gonna kind of level all that stuff out. Gonna have a more even underbody. Okay. Gonna bring this to the back. We are gonna tie this again in kind of that true, true fashion of bugger. So we're gonna be using our wire to counter wrap over top of our hackle feather. Okay, so I'm just gonna tie in my wire on the near side of the fly. I got a really long piece here, so I'm just gonna trim it a little shorter. And I'll use my hair clip just to hold it out of the way. Okay, the next thing we're gonna go to is we're gonna grab this brush. Now these brushes can be made out of lots of different things. Some of it's EP fiber, sometimes even find it with like rubber legs in them, whatever it is. Lots of variations to this fly. This one here is really nice and has a ton of sparkle in it on the brush itself. So we're just gonna basically, we wanna secure that center core, just like any other chenille almost, okay? Now I'm gonna make sure that's good and secure. I'm gonna work my thread forward. I'm gonna put a little half hitch in behind my cone head, set it out of the way. And now I'm just gonna start palmering this forward and pulling the material back as I go. Now we don't wanna we could stack these wraps right on top of each other and make this really, really bulky. You don't wanna do that. You still want water to be able to get down in between some of this. And we're also putting hackle over top of it. So we don't want it so thick that the hackle has no chance to penetrate through it. Okay, so I'm gonna work this forward all the way to the cone. Just remembering to pull the fibers back before each turn. And then I'm gonna take my thread, go over top of it, secure it down, in front and behind, and repeat. Now I'm gonna leave this tag end out here because I'm gonna show you something I'm gonna do with it at the very end. Because often when you come back to a cone, It's hard to finish off and make your feather look nice with your hackle at the head, and we're going to use this to help us, okay? So it's going to be a little irritating because it's kind of in the way at the moment, but we will fix it shortly. So now go ahead and grab one of the hackle fiber or hackle feathers. You got a kind of a variation. Most of them are about similar size. We're going to peel off on the stem just a little bit, get the fluffs off. Now we're going to tie in the back end of the feather first because we want the bigger fibers to be at the head, creating that taper of the head down to the body. Like so. So I'm going to lay this in right here. I'm going to make sure I have the stem very secure before I start wrapping forward with it. So that means I've got wraps in front and wraps behind to make sure it's good and secure before I snip it out. Because the big bummer is if that slips out on you, is that your whole feather is going to slip out. So I really want to nail that stem down. So I kind of focus some wraps, try to get it to go up under that cone a little bit. It'll help secure it. Okay, now I'm going to take my feather. I want to do one full wrap before I start heading back down the fly. I'm just going to kind of use my fingers to kind of prop up and pull out some of that flash. Now we're just palmering it back. Not trying to put a crazy amount on, but basically use the full amount of the feather. When you get near the end of the feather, it might not hurt to throw on a pair of hackle pliers just so you don't drop it. You have better control right up to the end. Now I'm going to release that wire. Now with the wire, we got to go the other direction. So I'm going to capture that hackle feather right there with the first wrap. And then I'm going to start counter wrapping and let it go there. Now I'm counter wrapping and wiggling it back and forth as to not trap too many of the hackle individual fibers as I move up. But this also gives a ton of strength to the fly. It helps that if you catch a fish and the hook, or sorry, their teeth cut into it, it's not going to actually tear the feather out. So now that I'm up to the head, I'm going to go ahead and grab a wrap behind the wire and a wrap in front of the wire, making sure that's good and secure. Once I got that there, you can go ahead and trim it out or helicopter it off. Just don't use your sharp scissors, use Dana scissors. And now that I'm here, all I'm going to do is I'm going to do a wrap with this. Now I've left it here, it's going to do a nice job of just finishing off the front of the cone. And then I'm going to tie it off right there. Thread wrap behind, thread wrap in front, and repeat. Just like so, and then you can go ahead and trim it out. I'm also going to trim out the base of that hackle, or the tip that I didn't use. Now I'm going to pull everything back that I can. Take a few thread wraps right behind the cone, like so. And I'm going to whip finish it right there. You can add some resin if you like, but if you do a couple of good whip finishes, then you don't have to mess with getting resin all over inside that brush and that feather. Just like so. So I've done 2 of them. Trim it out. Now I like to go ahead and grab my brush or my Velcro. Just kind of work that up just a little bit at first, and then comb it just lightly back. It's called tarantula for a reason. It's supposed to look like it's got a bunch of long legs poking out all over the place. That is our tarantula woolly bugger, guys. Meant to look buggy. I promise you it's going to fish well. Keep a whole variety of colors and sizes in your box. Thanks again for joining us for this quick tie. Thank you, Rocky Mountain Fly Shop, for bringing it to you. I'm Tim Hepworth with Fly Fishing Bover Outfitters and Thursday Night Live Fly Tying. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. And until next week, try to hang in there.